Okay, hi. So I understand that you're fundamentally against immigrant workers, illegal immigrant workers. That's true, right?
Yeah, they should all be deported back to their country of origin.
So what do you think is the best policy for keeping out illegal immigrants?
Well, we already know. First of all, do you know that border crossings have gone down 99.99%? Thank you, President Trump, for securing the southern border. So we know it. And finally, there has to be a much greater penalty for visa overstays and for people that come here legally and overstay their green card or their temporary work visa.
Do you think there should be a greater penalization for those who employ immigrants, illegal immigrants?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Doing, Mr. Kirk? Yeah, hi. This is, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm going to be like a debate king here. You have 10 years of experience on me. And I had a quick question, though, about on abortion, if that's okay with you. Right? So I think when we talk about abortion, I think we really get into this idea of like when we should assign personhood, right? So you clearly believe that life begins at conception, and I think it would be better if we shift that metric to a more based on sentience. And I believe that and the question I have for you is that since you believe that life begins at birth, let's say we have a person that's grown to old age and they have died and they have absolutely showing no brain activity at all. Would you believe that shooting that person, that dead person, is the equivalent of a human life?
Yeah, I mean, it is a human life, but those are two totally separate things. One is no more and the other one's not yet.
Right.
So not yet is different than no more. If someone's at the end of their life and there's nothing more we can do to continue their life, that is a different moral conversation than someone that has not yet been completely grown as a human as you and I. Two totally different moral circumstances, so you can't conflate the two.
Right. But I think they both have the same problem where it's about the presence of consciousness, right? Then
no, it's not a problem. One, the consciousness will come. One will not. That's
right.
So they're two separate things. One has potentiality.
Yeah.
One does not. So you can't conflate the two
right,
together.
But okay, let's say let me use a different analogy then. Let's say I have a blueprint to a building, right? And I have the materials for the building, and you destroy those materials. The materials of the building isn't the building in itself. Can we both agree that there's a difference between those two?
Is the building building itself in real time and is currently being constructed and it's going up?
No, but
up?
it still doesn't really matter because they're still adding value to the fact that we're creating the
bad
building.
Analogy.
Right?
A blueprint.
How's that
because the blueprint not itself is not the building.
Right, exactly.
No,
so
I'm
if
saying,
you were
a human being's DNA is not
we
just.
We agree on that though.
No,
the blueprint is not the building, so there's probably different moral qualifications.
No,
right?
they're not. I'm saying though that the baby is the building. So you're incorrect.
Okay, so
the building is following the blueprint.
So when you're looking at like I don't know, like a fertilized egg, you're telling me a picture of this fertilized egg is the equivalent of a human life
yes.
right now. No,
yes.
exact
What's
same
the difference?
The different stage of development.
No. So why should stage of development give you more rights?
Well, I mean, we okay. You're acting like this is not something this is done in society. Like for example, we do judge based on different stages of development, like in cognitive capabilities, right? I'm not letting a fetus drive a car. A fetus can't drive.
The right to life.
Alcohol and whatnot.
Apply the right to life to your stage of development.
This is a little bit different. So I guess a different question I would have to ask you is why I'm assuming your two qualifications here are the fact that it can create, it's a unique cellular organism, right, that has the potential to live,
and it's
right?
human, which
and
is inherently has dignity.
So I guess then this brings on the question, because I know there's another scenario where this occurs, right, where fertilization of an egg occurs, and they're on track to development, correct? And this other example that I'll think of is animals, right? I think why do we not give the same moral consideration to animals as we are to zygotes in this situation?
Because animals aren't human beings.
Okay, but why is human beings?
Human beings have a soul and animals do not.
Have a soul. So this is my point,
no,
guys.
Soul is not just consciousness.
Is a conscious experience.
No,
you are engaging in.
Wrong.
This is dishonest though.
Let me prove it to you. When someone is quote unquote brain dead, do you know that they still respond if someone stabs them? Their norepinephrine goes up. Do you know that a woman still menstruates if she's brain dead? So consciousness is not human worth. There's something else going on beyond consciousness that exists in a being that is the soul.
Okay, so now we're getting into a conversation about the difference between the soul and a consciousness is.
No, they're totally different. The soul is something beyond consciousness is your narration to yourself, the ability to reason. There's something above reason. All of us know what that is when it kicks in. You ever hear the expression, words can't describe, I am speechless? You know why? Speech is reason. When you see a sunset that takes your breath away, when you see a newborn life that is born, you don't even have the words to express it because it transcends your reason.
I agree with that.
That is your soul.
So I mean, that's a good point. When we give, what you just labeled there is when a child is when they're born, we give such moral significance to that, not the fact that they got fertilized by an egg. I don't want to celebrate. I want to I'd rather celebrate my birthday rather than the day my parents had sex. That's kind of a little weird situation. You know what I mean? If life begins at conception.
Well, it's called your birthday for a reason.
Right,
but you are a living being. Not
it seems that society
you
kind
were
of
9 months prior
gravitates to this idea of an actual human being existing. existing that
Oh,
gives
no, no, no.
moral value, right?
One is your entrance to the world. The other one
Right.
is the actual creation of your being. Two different
Right.
things. Your birthday is when you entered the world.
Right,
For example, your birthday could be at 28 weeks, not 36
Okay.
weeks. So everybody has a different day when you exit the womb, but it's
Okay.
not when your worth begins. That's not when your value begins. That's simply when you exit the womb.
Right, right. So I have a good question. I really want to get back to this idea of like you give more moral value to the level of the fact that like that humans that are developed have a soul in comparison to like a zygote that, or actually no, animals
or a
animals, is
coyote.
that- Okay, so is that not the same comparison to like a zygote to a developed human being in the sense that we are a higher functioning conscious being in comparison to like this other thing that we can just actively kill whenever
Doesn't
we want?
matter. I
Why
mean,
does
can
that
you
matter,
actively
though?
kill a 1-year-old? Doesn't have as much acuity as you do or consciousness.
Right, yeah, but like I mean,
Can you?
that's not the,
Can
that's
you
not-
kill a
that's not the-
1-year-old?
That's the same thing because like this is
Oh,
like
of
going
course
back
the
to
same
my
thing.
like
What's the
idea of
difference in a
sentience,
1-year-old
right?
and a 1-day-old zygote? What's the moral difference?
The level of consciousness.
Oh,
right?
so one's bigger. One's more developed.
No,
one's
no,
older.
not one more
The
developed. No,
consciousness
no.
is completely
Sure,
irrelevant.
sure.
Because
How is it
just you know that
relevant?
a 1-day-old out of the womb doesn't have a lot of consciousness at all.
Okay, sure,
It
that's
can't
fine.
speak. It can't really. It's kind of
Right.
like disembobulated.
But that's-
you don't get less rights for that.
I agree. I mean, like, well, to a certain degree, I agree with that. But like, there is a meaningful difference between a fertilized egg and a conscious
What is
human
it?
being. One is less conscious than the other.
Oh no, one has more skills. But like, what's the innate moral difference? And prove it to me.
Because it seems like we do give restrict rights, and we do actually change rights based on development and consciousness.
No,
and
about
cognitive
life.
experience,
So
right?
like a 4-year-old.
Right.
What is the innate moral difference of a 4-year-old and a zygote?
One is more conscious.
Okay, got it. So I think that's irrelevant. I think they're both human beings deserving of protection. Consciousness alone is not a marker of dignity.
Okay, but so then what is your marker of dignity? Is
Being
that
a
because-
human being.
Being a human being. So isn't your argument a little bit circular though? There, it's just like it's
No,
just
it's
because we deserve rights because we're human being.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's self-evident. We are human beings with a soul, therefore we have rights.
So we deserve rights because we're human beings because we're human beings. So like, how am I supposed to win against this argument here?
You can't.
See, okay, yeah, exactly. So it's
Because
inherently
it's called a
okay.
self-evident truth.
So like,
It's
yeah.
called self-evident. So that's why the pro-life position is irrefutable.
But
is
so
that
then-
because you have to posit human beings have rights?
And is not a kind of a concern that like we base all our entire ideology on this one illogical circle that.
No,
that
it's not
goes back and
illogical.
forth?
It's incredibly
Yeah, right.
logical.
So like,
We are human beings,
what I'm
and we
interested
believe
in
that
is
they
that,
matter.
Like, if you were to remove this circle here, then you would have to actually be pro-life in the sense to be pro-life to all life.
Oh, we are.
Right. So
No, no, no,
pro-life to
no,
like
but no,
animals,
but no,
and kind of
but we don't
saying-
believe
I'm-
human
look,
beings
I'm
are-
not like a vegan or anything. I'm not
But
vegetarian.
human beings
I
are not the
think this-
moral
if
same
you
as
were-
a bird. It's not the same thing. For multiple reasons. Because a human being has characteristics and qualities, and most importantly, we believe as Christians, human beings have a soul that a bird does not have.
Okay, so characteristics and
And
qualities
only,
like...
let me interrupt one more. The
Sorry,
West,
no
whether
problem.
you agree or not, sorry to interrupt, we believe the human being is the only thing made in the image of the Creator, Imago Dei.
Okay, so when you say characteristics and qualities, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to me?
Well, first of all, not just the ability to reason, but
Okay.
also the ability to sympathize, empathize,
Okay.
feel, predict, plan,
Yeah.
conjecture, have
Right.
mercy, forgiveness,
Okay,
to be able to be
all beautiful things.
introspective.
I love that. I love that about us human beings.
Oh no, I know.
I'm not being sarcastic.
No,
It's
but
a good
we
point,
human beings
yeah.
are exceptional, actually. I mean,
Right.
versus the beasts of the wild, which
Right.
we should appreciate and adore. But again, more beyond that, we come after this from a soft religious view, because you don't have to be Christian to believe this.
Right, right.
That the human being has innate, inerrant, embedded, let's just say, dignity
Okay.
that a fox does not.
Right. Yeah. So what you just did there is kind of like my argument here. You're saying that like because we're human, we are more developed. We have higher cognitive reasoning. We're able to sympathize, emotion, and reason, do all these
And the
great
soul.
things. Right. But the thing is, well, I guess that's a religious belief though.
Well,
And
that's
my
an
belief
interesting
system,
question.
I think that consciousness is the soul.
And that's where why if you don't believe in God, it's easy to go want to murder a bunch of people. And I'm not criticizing you. It goes back to just a common theme here. If you believe in God, every human being has dignity.
Well, you're kind of intuition pumping there about saying if it's murder because we haven't really discussed. We haven't even agreed on.
I mean,
whether
but look,
the zygote
it's of course,
a human being
if
worth
a human
considering,
being
right?
and the elimination of human life is murder, but that's
Right.
fine. We're just.
Okay.
This is why it's very hard to change people
Okay.
that don't believe in God to be pro-life, because you don't necessarily believe that human life is necessarily special.
No, I mean I do.
But you might
believe
think it's
human
like
life is
unique
very
and it's
special,
like
right?
interesting.
It is
but
unique
you
experience,
don't
right?
believe it's made in the image of a creator.
Okay, yeah,
And that's fine. And that's why we tend to be the pro-life champions, and those that don't believe in God don't. And that's okay.
Okay.
It's just that clarity is important for the audience.
Okay, so I guess we can keep going back and forth. I'm sure you got a whole line. I'm gonna
It's
give it
fine.
to
No,
people.
you-
But I
you've been great.
I do want to have a good question with you. A question about that I want to leave off on is so it seems like I think you're pretty set in stone in this position, and I would like to ask, what would I have to do or prove to show you in order to convince you that pro-life isn't the answer that society should be seeking for?
I mean, it would be an impossibility. You have to prove to me God doesn't exist.
Okay, so then we can agree that like this is just a moral issue that you're appealing to a book.
Of course. I
And-
mean, all
okay.
moral issues appeal to an authority, obviously.
Okay, okay.
Why is murder wrong?
I mean, because the reason, if you want to talk about morality, we can talk about morality too.
Abortion is a moral issue, of course. It is.
Yeah.
But
the reason why
our whole conversation is laced with morality.
But in order to kind of like reduct it to like a textbook or a book or a specific like.
Well, why? Where do you get your morality from?
Well, I think morality should be based on like what is the best choice of action to help society progress.
Okay, so okay, got it. What if society agrees we should kill the dumb people?
Well, probably not the best.
Well, but why?
Well, the thing is, it's the thing is,
we should abort,
pragmatically that doesn't work out.
Yes, it does. In Iceland, it's mandatory to abort Down syndrome babies.
Okay.
It's best, right? Down syndrome people are a strain on society. Why do you say it's wrong?
I mean, because there's some degree of like we should protect some people.
Why? By what standard? Why are you appealing to? I appeal to a book. What do you appeal to?
The thing is, I think like there's still some value to
why?
people.
What standard? Is that your opinion, or is there something transcendent telling you that?
No, there's something transcendent because like there is some sacredity to life, and that's what I agree with. I agree that life is sacred. That's why I would agree that if you adopted a more broader pro-life stance, I think I would be more on side of that. Like if you want to have a society where we're forcing women to breed and pump out children, then I would say you would have to create that society where like it is more able for them to do that, and in addition to not be indiscriminate between life. So I think. I would agree with that sentiment, right?
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
Hat?
Yeah, I'll give you a hat.
All right, so we're talking objective truths here, right, Charlie? Okay, so thing is, here's an objective truth. Every single policy the Republicans claim they're for, they've basically done the opposite of, right? Every time you repeal a piece of abortion legislature, the coat hanger business gains a few new customers, right? And even after they're born, you guys don't give as much of a crap about them after they're out of the womb, right? You don't want to pay
That's
for
not true. Why would you say that?
Because you guys have an active war against education. You guys have an active war against free lunch.
Hold on. Just because you don't want to throw government money at something doesn't mean you don't care about them. Time out. We want to have more police, so safer streets, so kids don't get killed in crossfire, gang shootings. We want to have a secure southern border so that hundreds of thousands of girls are not sold into sex slavery every single year. We want school choice so that kids can have a better education. We actually want a balanced budget so the U.S. dollar will be around for future generations. I reject this whole thing that, oh, you guys are only pro-life at birth. No, every policy that we have is rooted in a pro-life position.
Okay, all right. So let's move a little bit on from that. I'm not saying I've lost yet, because a woman did kill her own child literally like a couple of days ago. On day of birth, 60 years in prison, as she should have. But like that is a abortion problem. She was raped. But,
yeah, I know, but
let's
hold
move.
on. But if she would have killed the baby while it was in the womb, it would have been okay. So why was it wrong to kill the baby outside the womb?
Because the baby could cry.
Oh, the baby can't cry in a womb?
Okay.
No,
you want to talk about...
No, you brought it up. Why is it bad to slit the throat of a baby once it's born, but okay to slit the throat of the baby that's in the womb?
Less cells. Just straight up less cells. I would
one
say
day
as
one day
count the
difference.
cells, less cells, right?
Wait, so the amount of cells you have dictate your moral worth? I have more.
I do not want to get into this moral thing.
No, you already did.
Okay,
hold
then
on.
we will.
I have more.
Would you go into a crowd of black people and say the N-word? Would you? If there's no moral covenant against that, would you go? If I gave you $500 right now, would you? Would you?
No.
Would you say it?
No.
What's stopping you?
I mean,
what's stopping you? What line in the Bible is going to stop you going up to a group of guys and go, hey, fellas, mind if I say a word? Mind if I speak my piece? No.
You say the word?
Because I have a different set of morals. I say that's just wrong.
By what moral is that wrong?
By morals of around, find out. I'm going to get my jumped. I will get the shit out of me. This presumptuous. I don't know about you, but any kind of argument that there's an objective morality that doesn't depend.
Was Hitler objectively evil?
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree.
Amount of cells, gone. Biomass, that's kind of.
So wait, so does someone who's older have moral rights than a 4-year-old because they have more cells?
Depends on the person.
Okay.
Listen, might makes right? I got more inches on that guy. I could probably jump him. I mean, like, if... Listen, not to start a fight. I have no offense. I didn't even point at a person. But did I point at you? I'm sorry if I did. I'd lose against him. If I was pointing at him, I would lose. But, okay. Here's what I actually want to talk about, okay? We've gone a little sidetracked. That was my preamble. Hey, listen. All right? I want to talk to you about DEI, right? Because I have a feeling that I'm a white man, right?
You are?
I would say I am, right? I would say I'm a white guy. I may be entirely Chinese, but what even is a white guy, right? Throughout history, right? Irish people and Polish people were not considered white people. Then you're going to say in 17 blah, 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 they technically were counted. Right now, you look at the books, Arabic people are called
What's the
white
question?
people.
We got a long line.
Do you disagree with the fact that I'm white?
I mean, look, I don't know what you are. You don't look very white to me, but I mean, like...
You don't look very white to me either. I mean,
I'm like the whitest person you'll ever meet.
I'm a phrenologist, right? I'm a phrenologist. I'm paler than you are. Look at me.
Okay, great.
Look at me, okay? So, I don't think there's a physical objective quality that defines being a white guy, I think, right? Because if you look at the book, it's not a country of origin. There's no country of origin for white people. It's like saying Asian people are one race.
Caucasian is the better term, but...
Well,
I would prefer not to talk about race all the time, but yeah.
Well, all right. Then what's the problem with, like, let's say a Mexican?
There's no problem.
There's no problem with Mexicans. Then what was your beef against Kilmar Brigo Garcia? He was in court for different reasons. And then
what's my beef with a wife-beating, child-abusing gang member here illegally? I don't know, the fact that he's a wife-beating, child-abusing gang member here illegally, that's my beef with him.
Okay.
And he's from El Salvador, not Mexico. Racist, get that right?
Oh, my bad. Who's doing it now, dude? Hey, wait
All
a
right,
second.
thank you very much.
Hold
Next,
on.
thank you. He's going to go and tell his friends, I own Charlie Kirk.
He probably is, man. He probably is. Hey,
You're eager beaver.
I am, man, because I have a midterm soon. But I wanted to talk to you real quick because honestly, man, I'm a moderate, so I disagree with you on a lot of issues, but I also agree with you on a lot of issues. And I'm so glad you've come to this campus. And so I want to say welcome to this campus, man. Welcome to this campus. Thank you for educating everybody. But one thing that we don't talk about often, especially as Republicans, and again, I'm a moderate. Sometimes this past election I was Republican, but we don't talk about social mobility a lot. We don't talk about like the debt to GDP ratio. Trump, his tax cuts and jobs plan, man, it's really like it's not decreasing our deficit at all. And we're at the highest rates we've ever been at since World War II. We're literally going to surpass, 100% debt to GDP ratio. And there's no plan, at least under the Obama plan, we were going to raise like $650 billion over the next 10 years, which I know isn't enough. But I mean, come on, we've got to do something about that. And like, what's the deal with that?
We need more spending cuts. I mean, we don't know yet what the plan is going to look like, but I hope we have spending cuts across the board. I mean, I agree with you. We need to balance our budget. It's a major threat to our country.
Well, the big thing is too, man. I mean, I'm an older student, right? I'm clearly not 19 anymore, or at least maybe you think so, but whatever. It took me a while to get here, man. It took me a while to get to college. I got on a med school shirt. I actually switched to economics because I hope I can get in rooms with guys like you one day and have these discussions. But look, man, it took me forever to get here. It took me forever to get to college. And the only reason that I'm here today is because I had to move from a Republican state to such a liberal state like California so that I could actually get an education because it was completely unaffordable. And we just don't address that. We just don't address it.
What state are you from?
I'm originally from Georgia. And I know it swings back and forth, but still, I mean, there's just no opportunities there, man. I mean, I tried my hardest my whole life, man. Believe me, I work and I work and I work and I pound and I save, but there are no opportunities,
I would just
man,
push back a little bit, though. I mean, a lot more people are leaving California than coming into California. Like
I understand but those are wealthy people that are leaving.
No, that's not true. No, a lot of working middle class people are leaving the state. The opportunities are in states like Texas and Arizona and Florida, and increasingly not here in this state.
But the opportunity for social mobility is here. I mean, for instance, for me to get to the first, for me to be in the first quartile of my income and to make it all the way up to the fifth, for me to, be working my butt off, making a $40,000.
You're very unusual to say that because California has the highest housing prices in the country,
yeah,
the highest cost of living,
correct,
the most homelessness. So you're very unusual to say that the social mobility is good here in California because it's not.
It's because people don't take advantage of it. But I mean, I came here specifically to take advantage of it because I can see the system here, and I'm just saying it works for people who actually use it. So.
All right. Hi, Charlie. My name's Gabriel, and I'm a senior in high school. And I want to tell you this. I don't know much about this topic, so I'm here more to learn, but I also want to provide a point of view. So. I wanted to speak about Trump's tariff policy. So since January 2025, Trump has had one of the worst presidential terms concerning the economy. And there's statistics to back this up. S&P has dropped 8%, Dow Jones has dropped 7%, the Russell has dropped 12%. The way I understand it, tariffs are a tax that are passed on to consumers. They impede upon the world free trade and increase the cost of imported goods. This not only has tanked our economy, but is actually putting small businesses across America out of work. Middle-class Americans that voted for Trump believing prices would drop are now having to close down their small business because they used to rely on outsourcing. Now, I understand that Trump's goal with this tariff policy is to bring back jobs to America. However, this is an unrealistic reality. Even though some corporations are moving production to the U.S. to avoid tariff, in reality, most would rather pass the cost on to consumers than financially pay billions of dollars in building new plants in America and paying higher wages. With all of this, I wanted to ask you if you could please defend Trump's tariff plan.
Sure. Great. First of all, the market's recovering, but you're right, it has gone down. The market is not a necessarily good indicator of the economy. We have an economy and then we have a market. Half of Americans don't own any stocks, just for the record.
Okay.
And that's a very important thing, right?
There's a lot of Americans that have money in stocks and are losing money every day.
Well, actually, okay, you're in high school, so I'm just going to be like super gentle. Like, the market's been up the last couple days, right? Markets go up, markets go down.
Okay.
The more important question, though, is what type of economy is going to survive the next 40 or 50 years? When we do not make our own vitamin C, we don't make our own antibiotics, we don't make our own drone parts, and it's all made in China, we should try to re-domicile it. It's tempting to blame this all on tariffs, but there's actually no tariffs that are in place right now. You know that, right?
There's still a 10% baseline tariff, and even though there's a 90-day pause, they're going to come back. That's the reality.
You know that better than I do, right? Yeah.
Well, I know that. That's a fact.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
There's a 90-day pause on tariffs.
So again, I'm trying to be super, like, you're in high school, it's fine. You know Trump's talking to South Korea and Japan and Vietnam.
Okay.
We're going to get massive deals with India, and we're going to fix the trade imbalances. And here's the core of it. Can we at least agree that Trump ran on the idea of tariffs?
He did.
And people voted for it?
Yes.
Should elected leaders do what people vote for them to do?
Yes, but
Okay.
but I agree that he's doing what he said he would do. What I'm asking you is, how can you defend what he's doing? Because what would you say to the middle-class American that has a small business that now has to shut down their business because they used to outsource to China, and now they can't pay due to the high tariffs? That's my question.
They were outsourcing to China?
Well, even though some small businesses don't outsource, they get a lot of their production from big companies that do make their products foreign. And so now that those prices are being jacked up and small businesses are running out of customers because they're having to pass the cost on to the consumer.
I see no evidence of that happening. And I believe, first of all...
what is the definition of a tariff?
Well, the tariff is a duty on an imported product. How do you avoid a tariff?
You move to the U.S.
Yeah, exactly.
So
wait, hold on a second.
Are most companies moving to the U.S.?
Actually, yes. You know there's over $6 trillion in investments announced in the last 2 weeks in the United States of America?
Yeah.
$6 trillion.
But what happens in the U.S.? You get higher wages. Where does that cost go? Businesses aren't going to just pay that cost. They pass that cost on to
Toyota,
consumers.
Honda, Stellantis, NVIDIA did a $500 billion investment.
Yeah,
Oracle,
NVIDIA is down
data
like
centers.
20% in the last 3 months.
Right, again, so I'm going to try to be very gentle with this. Stock prices are not always a reflection of reality. That is an inflection of investors' skittishness, right? Okay. So if NVIDIA is down 20%, they might have been hyperinflated a couple months ago. Yeah. Let me just kind of close with this. Do we both agree we should make more stuff in America?
I agree in certain cases, yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think with critical manufacturing, critical industry, we have massive trade imbalances with these countries. The president is going to actually say you have to buy more of our product, buy more of our liquefied natural gas. And I believe coupled with that small business that you talked about, they're about to receive the largest tax cut in American history. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and a massive middle-class tax.
But if we can produce goods foreignly for less money, why are we moving it back to the U.S.? And my other point is...
Because less money is not the most important thing.
By moving it back to the U.S., what are you, making more factory jobs? We're moving into a time where tariffs are behind us. Factory jobs are behind us.
Wrong.
Soon AI is going to take over these factory jobs.
And this is where you're totally wrong, man. We have 11 million manufacturing jobs that we need to fill in the next 5 years that don't require college degrees. Advanced manufacturing jobs, highly precise. Who's going to build all the robots? Who's going to build the drones? There's insane amount of hardware infrastructure that needs to happen. Factory jobs are not behind us. In fact, we have more hardware needs now in 2025 than we even had in 1985. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Great American. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join us as we share powerful stories about America's strength and progress. Today's episode is about one of the most important promises Donald Trump made, bringing jobs back to America and building one of the strongest economies in history. When Trump entered office in 2017, many Americans felt left behind. Factories had closed, jobs had moved overseas, and wages were stuck. Families worried about their futures, and the American dream seemed out of reach for millions. Trump promised to change that. He told workers, "I will be your voice," and he set out to revive the economy. One of the biggest steps was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. This reform lowered taxes for individuals and businesses, allowing families to keep more of their hard-earned money. Companies, both big and small, had new incentives to invest in America, hire more workers, and raise wages. For the first time in years, the middle class felt relief, and businesses saw opportunities to grow. At the same time, Trump worked to reduce unnecessary regulations. He believed that businesses were being suffocated by red tape. By cutting back government restrictions, he gave entrepreneurs the freedom to innovate and expand. Small businesses in particular felt the difference, as they were finally able to focus on growth instead of paperwork. The results came quickly. By 2019, unemployment reached record lows. African American, Hispanic American, and Asian American unemployment rates all hit the lowest levels ever recorded. Women in the workforce also saw historic opportunities. It was a jobs boom that touched communities across the nation. Families who had once feared losing everything now found new confidence. Manufacturing jobs, which many had thought were gone forever, began to return. Trump renegotiated trade deals like NAFTA, replacing it with the USMCA, which prioritized American workers and industries. He demanded fairness from trading partners, making it clear that America would no longer settle for deals that hurt its own citizens. Wages grew as well, especially for lower-income workers. For years, many had felt stuck, earning the same while costs of living rose. But under Trump's economic policies, real wages increased, and households finally felt the difference. The American dream was no longer a distant idea, it was becoming reality again. Trump often spoke proudly of these achievements at rallies, saying that America's comeback was not just about numbers but about people. He shared stories of workers returning to newly reopened plants, parents providing better for their children, and communities finding hope after years of struggle. Critics argued that the tax cuts favored the wealthy or that growth would not last, but supporters pointed to the undeniable results. Millions of new jobs, rising wages, and stronger markets gave proof that the policies were working. Even economists who disagreed with Trump acknowledged that the economy was booming. For ordinary Americans, the impact was personal. It meant being able to pay bills without fear, save for a home, or send children to college. It meant dignity and opportunity. The jobs boom was not about Wall Street alone. It was about Main Street, where families lived their everyday lives. This period of prosperity became one of the proudest achievements of Trump's presidency. While challenges later came with the global pandemic, the foundation of growth had been set. America had proven it could compete, lead, and thrive when its leaders put workers first. The legacy of this economic boom is clear: millions lifted, wages rising, and hope restored. It showed that bold policies, when driven by belief in the American worker, could transform lives. It reminded the nation that when America comes first, everyone benefits. Thank you for watching this episode of Great American. If you believe in America's strength and the dignity of hard work, hit like, share this video, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Together, we celebrate the spirit of opportunity that defines this great nation.